My name is Christopher Bugg. I was a former major in the United States Air Force. I spent 16 years as a cyber operations officer. I'm currently here at Wellpath in IT operations support.
My name is Bob Hester. I was in the U.S. Army for the decade of the 70s, from 1970 to 1980, and I'm a proposal writer at Wellpath.
Hi, my name is Terrell, and I served a tour of duty in Marine Corps from 1982 to 1986, where I was a 0341 infantryman or mortarman, and here at the Wellpath, I'm in level 2 clinical technical support.
Yes, Robert Malloy. I've been served for 22 years in the United States Army as an Army combat medic, and I am a regional director of operations for Wellpath.
Hi, I'm Stan Wofford. I was in the Navy for 23 years, retired in 2007. I was as a chief hospital corpsman. Here at Wellpath, I'm the executive vice president of operations.
So my name is Wanda Streeter. I was in the military in the Army for 12 years. Most of that was reserves, in the reserves, and now I'm the vice president of operational support with Wellpath.
In the armed forces, I did a lot of communications work, telecommunications in general. It'd be ground-to-air communications, radios, networks, telephones, satellites, all that.
So I spent 22 years as a combat medic, starting out as a line medic with the infantry, and spent most of my career with them, culminating as the senior clinical NCO and the chief advisor for the deputy commander of nursing for Blanchfield Army Community Hospital.
Most of that time in the Navy was spent with Marine units, infantry units in and out of different zones.
In the service, I went in, I was being drafted. I took an extra year to get some training of choice and maybe get out of it going to the war zone. And about 10 weeks, 16 weeks later, I was in Vietnam. And so I spent a year there, spent years in an aviation unit, military intelligence unit, and as a protocol NCO in Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
While I was in the military, I was trained in all things infantry. That included rifles, pistols, grenades, vehicles. All things infantry is what I trained in while I was in the military.
I was a 91 Charlie, and actually a 91 Charlie is an LPN. I was assigned to a field hospital, and that was in Alabama. A field hospital is where we would go out, just like if you ever watched MASH, that was me.
My time in the military really taught me a lot about leadership and who I want to be as a leader, as well as a lot of attention to detail, and those have served me really well here at Wellpath.
Military requires us to have a lot of autonomy and rapid decision making. And through the years of 22 years of service, you learn to hone those skills. Those skills translate directly to what we do here every day.
If you think about it, and you take an aircraft carrier out to sea with sailors and patients on it, it's identical to what we do in a facility where we're working with our patients here. The training that I had in the military developed me and trained me perfectly for the job I'm doing today.
The skill or experience that I gained in the military that's helped me here at Wellpath is probably being able to work under pressure.
I feel like every child that gets out of high school should go to basic training. Change doesn't bother me, because when I was in Saudi Arabia in the military, I packed my bags 5 times to go home. And when we were standing there waiting to go home, change 1001, oh, we got another order, you can't go. My father summed it up for me. He was like, Wanda, you're like water. He was like, you see all those rocks? Water confirms to whichever way it goes. And that's how I live my life, and that's what they did for me.
Things that I learned in the Army that really work well here at Wellpath is you learn leadership in the Army. You learn how to work with people, with teams. You learn how to lead teams. You learn how to manage upward. You learn how to manage downward.
So for those of you that have served and have the opportunity to spend time with your family now for all the years of service, I would recommend that you take those times and enjoy those things. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time.
In honor of Veterans Day, I think about all the veterans that have served before me and the veterans that I'm working with today, even in this company. And I feel that without their service, we would not be the country that we are today. So for those that have gone before us and those that will go after us, I really appreciate it from my heart, and I know the sacrifice because I've been there.
In honor of Veterans Day, I'd like to tell veterans that work at Wellpath to appreciate how lucky they are to be at a place that appreciates what you give, and a place where you have comrades in arms, people that, whether you know it or not, understand what your life is and how it's different from other people.
I served with some incredible people while I was in the military. Some were older, some were younger. So as a person who went through it and as a person who trained in the military, I just want to thank all the veterans for all the service that they've given us.
I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to all those who have served, are still serving, and their families. We appreciate you.
In honor of Veterans Day, I would like to say to all my co-workers and all the veterans out there, thank you. I know what you went through. I know what we went through, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
To all the Wellpath veterans and your families, I'd like to say on behalf of Wellpath, thank you.